All right, we should be live. What's going on, guys? Just gonna finish what I was doing real fast before stream, and then we'll get into it. I was looking at some Etsy premium. I was trying to figure out how much this iron condor slash strangle would pay out. Let's take a look. 160. That's not right. What are we looking at? July 16th? These are 170s.
137.01, we're pushing. Apple.
Then you want to sell the 180s. Then you want to sell the 230 calls. And then buy the 250s. Oops. What did I do here? 240 to 170. Let's do that. What's going on, Poncho? So we have an 83.6% POP compared to an 82.9, so they're about the same. This you'd be entering, would this be a debit? No, it'd be a credit. Okay, so this one you're entering for $1.71 credit per contract. This would be $1.06 credit per contract. Or per spread, I should say. Let's do... What's coming in on Cheddar? What did we just get? Let's see, what time is it? Not showing me. It is 3:03. What just came in? It was Lee Automotive. Big puts coming in, actually, 500,000. $31 puts for 716 on Lee Automotive. These plays would be relatively the same, because you're receiving about half the credit. So if we times this by 2, the overall risk would be pretty much identical. Yeah, they're basically identical. So you're better off just taking the strangle instead of the iron condor. Okay, sorry. I was just doing that before stream. I wanted to finish that before I lost track. I was looking at Etsy, seeing how we could make some premium on this, but their options are really bad. And I was seeing because you just had a consolidation, and now we're in an impulse. So most likely it will impulse for a little bit longer, and then it will get into a consolidation phase. So if we can get a strangle, so like sell up here, sell this, and then we make money anywhere in between. So as long as it goes into a an accumulation or a distribution phase within these parameters, you would make money. But the downside is their options are very bad. I was looking at selling the 180s puts and then selling the 230 calls for July 16th. Those options are not that bad. it would have a theta of 20 per spread, delta of 3. So the delta is not exactly neutral. You'd want it to be neutral, but you can't really make this neutral. That's as close as you're going to get it. Yeah, those EDU contracts are getting shredded. I'm going to hold on until at least like Monday. If they don't do anything by Monday, I'll close them. I actually took some XPEV lottos this morning, and they're getting killed. I was up 50% on the lottos immediately, but I had to go take a phone call. Like, I literally sat down, bought the lottos, got a phone call, walked away, came back. They were down 50%. And during my phone call, they went up 50%, so it kind of sucked. It was an expensive phone call. But yeah, this is ridiculous, honestly. XPEV, if you guys didn't see the announcement, they announced their deliveries are up 600% year over year. So compared to this time last year, their deliveries are up 600%, and they're down almost 2% on the day. That is insanity. That is what you call being priced in. It's actually wild. They expire tomorrow, so I'm just going to let them expire worthless. They are lottos. I don't really care. I didn't put too much money into them. They're about 1% of my account. So I lose 1% of my account if they go to 0. Big fucking deal. I don't care. So we're going to let them run. Gonna let them run. What's priced in, man? Priced in means like that news, the recent price action has already priced in that news. Like, that news is not unexpected. The people that were pushing this price action were expecting good news. So even though it had good news, it's already priced in. Our Airbnb position that we took at the close yesterday was doing very well in the morning, and then we pulled back. We're still green on this. Or I think we're very slightly red. But this is looking good. I think most of these stocks that were doing really well into the quarterly close, and now they're pulling back, it's just that. It's because of the quarterly close. They're pulling back from the Q2 closing, and then we have the holiday weekend coming up as well. If Costco loses 393, I'm going to take profit on the remaining shares that I have. My best play right now is retail. This is now my largest position. Costco was my largest, but we closed half my shares on that breakout. Now retail is my largest position, and we're looking like we're going to get that move that we want. I want to see this break into like 103. Another 5% here. This will be a really nice gain for our account if this hits. I've been going a lot harder on shares lately than I have on options, because options have just been getting bled out. Their premiums are getting slaughtered. And I'm trying really hard to find things to sell. Like, every morning I'm looking for good tickers to sell premium on, and I just can't find any good plays. All the ones that have decent options have low volatility, and all the ones that have good volatility have bad options. So it's like, fuck, what am I going to do? I tried selling premium on Neo when the volatility was, when the IV rank was low, which you typically don't want to do, and I got slaughtered on that, so. The Airbnb calls paid? Yeah, definitely. If you took calls when we bought our shares yesterday, and then you closed on the open, easy trade. If you guys took my SPY or Q's lottos that I mentioned in Discord, you're getting paid. The Q's ones pulled back pretty hard. So not so sure on those ones as of right now, but the SPY ones are paying. We mentioned the 429 calls, I believe. Yeah, 429 calls. And those things are on fire. They were alerted around $1. They're trading for $1.90. Not bad on those. Neo had a nasty pullback today. You hit our target, the 55 target, and it topped out almost perfectly on that level. And then you had a pullback on XPEV, obviously, even though it had good deliveries. And then you had a pullback on Tesla as well. So EV's not doing too well today. For call flow, we had some calls coming in on Apple. So if we look at the 7-day flow here, we did have some calls coming in, 144s and 146s. These 144s, they were bought yesterday. Those are probably getting paid, even though they're so far away. He bought them for 11 cents. What are they going for now? They're going for... Okay, so no, he's getting buried on those. They're going for 7. So those are getting buried. These that came in today are doing well, though. They started coming in pretty early. Around 10 o'clock. 146 is for July 30th. Yeah, I saw that. Krispy Kreme was going public. Their ticker's Donut. That's funny. D-Nut. Look at that IPO. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Opened up at 1630. It's already up 23%. Every IPO goes straight up, except for Coinbase. Straight down. Airbnb's back to being green on the day. There we go. Little perk up here on the close. One to watch is Discovery. You had some call flow come in today, right on the open. And you can see we sold off on the open, but then we spiked really hard. And this thing, look at this thing. This was one of the ones that got sold off really hard during the Viacom bullshit that happened. The over-leveraged liquidation event. But now we're starting to perk back up here. So this is a pattern that we've been talking about too. If you can close above the 50, break the local resistance, which would be around like 35, you should be able to get 40, 43 pretty easily. Did DD IPO? Yeah, DD IPO too. This is the Chinese Uber, right? We're kind of topping out on the same place that we topped out during the IPO. Gapped up here, ran. We're still topping out on the same level. So you can break that level above 17, you should be pretty good. It's retesting the 50 here, though. If it loses that 50, it's going to sell off. One thing you guys want to watch is oil. They had an OPEC meeting today, a big one. And they said that they wanted to continue the cuts through 2022. So they want to continue the cuts for a long time. And that's good for oil. That's good for the oil price. Bad for gas prices, right? If you guys need to fill up, you need to fill up soon. But if oil continues to pump, then we should be seeing a gain on SPY as well. Because when oil has a very good trend, SPY will follow. Like if oil pumps really hard, SPY follows. If oil dumps really hard, SPY follows. They don't correlate 100%, but typically their trends correlate. So a big pump in oil, like if it went back to like 90 to 100, 80 to 100, that should be very good for SPY. And we can kind of see that too. Look at the trend on oil the last few weeks and look at the trend on SPY. They're both extremely bullish. SPY, we were looking for a target around 429 to 430 this week and we got it. So very, very good breakout on SPY. Nice continuation. Next target would be around 431.50. Netflix had a pretty nice gain this morning, but then it pulled back pretty hard. It tried to bounce off that little sell-off. You reclaim the 530 level. We still have a lot of gap to fill too. We still have this much left to fill. So there's a ways it can go. 550 would be the overall target. As long as it holds on to like 520, you're going to get 550 very soon. I don't know what this EDU guy was thinking, but we're getting buried on those options. We need that guy to come in clutch by Monday. That's the one thing about following flow. You're just gambling because you don't know what they see. You're just putting your money on somebody else. That's why I don't really like following flow too much. I like following the flow that has really good charts. And I saw the potential in EDU. That's why I followed these. And they're just lottos, so it wasn't a big deal. But this chart has a lot of potential because if this chart breaks above like 860, 890, this thing could be a big winner. This thing could pump really hard. Yeah, Jake, I'm right there with you, man. I bought XPEV lottos right at the open, and then I had to take a phone call, walked away, came back, they were down. So, it sucked. They went up 50% right after I bought them, and then they went down 50%. And now they're currently down 85, so we're getting buried. Most likely not going to make money on those. It's only a 1% position though, so nothing too big. Sometimes I'll put in 2 to 3% in my lottos if they're really good. This was just a 1%, so not a huge loss. I've got about 1% in EDU as well. So if I lose both these lottos, I'll lose 2% of my account, which kind of sucks, but we made that on Costco easily. And then we have retail paying us as well. You were up 300%, now you're down 50. So I don't do stuff like that. That's a big mistake. And you never want to do that with lottos, especially lottos. If you're up a lot on a lotto, like if you're up like 50% plus, you should never take a loss. Because when you take lottos, you understand that you're going to lose most likely. And you're very likely to lose like at least 50 to 100%. But once you're up like 50%, that means you were right. Like you took them at the right time, you had a good trade. You shouldn't lose that money now. You know what I mean? They were a gamble, now they're not a gamble. You're right. So pay yourself. Don't let yourself lose money. So if you're up like 50% on a lotto and if it comes back to break even, close it. Don't let it become a loser. And if it's up 300, you should never let it come back. If it's up 300, once it comes back to like 200, you should close it. You should have trailing stop losses with lottos. If you want to trail by 20% or trail by 50%, it doesn't matter, right? Because the thing with lottos is, even if you're right, you will still have a very high chance of losing money. Because when you take lottos, they're so far out of the money that it doesn't matter if you're right, because you're very likely not going to get that target, right? So like with XBEV, perfect example on my XBEV trade. I bought the 50s. Did I think this thing was going to get to 50 by tomorrow? No, no way. Did I think we were going to see a nice little spike here that I could sell into? Yes. But I was not here like when it spiked, so I was not able to sell it. So now we're back into the zone where it's just a regular lotto. It's a gamble. We're losing money. But if I was here, there's no shot I would have let that thing go below negative again. Because once you're up 50%, you don't take a loss. That's just a rookie mistake. And I do it every now and then too. Like people who have been trading for a long time, we still do that. But you'll find if you cut those trades out of your portfolio, I guess you would say, just cut those trades out of your system, you will have much, much lower losses, much smaller losses. You don't want to cut them too early. Like, you don't want the lotto to be up 20% and then you cut it at 0. Because that's not really enough, unless you put like a lot of money into it. But if it's up like 50 or more, then you can start thinking about cutting that. Any lotto that pays less than 50%, I consider a loss. So like even if it pays you 20%, I consider that a loss. The reason I consider that a loss is because you're willing to lose 100%. So if you're not at least getting 50% out of it, that's a bad trade. Even 50% is not a very good trade. Because you're only getting a 0.5 to 1 return. But if you put a lot of money into a lotto, like more than you should have, and then you return 50%, that's not a bad trade. But yeah, never do that again, dude. I'm telling you. If you take that out of your trading, you will become a much better trader very quickly. Do not let massive winning trades become losers. It doesn't even matter. And like, this is where I'd break my rule where you want to trade the chart, right? You want to trade how the chart looks. You don't really want to trade your P&L. The one time I would break that rule is if something was up a lot and you let it come all the way back. I don't care what the chart looks like. You should close that at break even. Because it's just a psychological thing. Like, you do not want that to become a loser. You were up so much on that, it should not become a loser. So if you create a discipline where you don't let those become losers, you'll protect yourself from a lot of losses. I added on to Zim today. I bought some more Zim shares, and I bought some more Matix shares, MATX. I have not bought these other shippers yet. These are long-term, like dollar cost average positions, so I still have a lot of room to add on. I'll add on to Zim basically all the way down to like 35, 36. I hope it doesn't go down there, but if it does, I'll add on. Yeah, when do our EDU contracts expire? They expire on July 16th, so we still have 2 weeks. But recovering from a 66% loss is very, very difficult. That's another rule that I have for the most part. I have not been following it too well this year. If I did, I would be making a lot more money. But one of my rules I try to follow with options is once it gets below 40%, you cut it. Because I've found that over the years of trading options, if something goes below 40%, like if you're down more than 40%, it is extremely hard to make a profit on that trade. Like something very unusual has to happen for you to come back and make money. Because what happens to options, once they're down that much, their delta has gone down to the point where it's very hard to recover. So like, let's use one of my trades as an example. I have silver trades that are down a lot. So I broke my rule on silver. But the reason I broke the rule on silver is because they were diagonals. I was selling premium on top of the contracts that I was buying. So those I break the rule a little bit because it doesn't it's not exactly 40% because you're collecting premium. But I'll go back to this as an example. So my silver trade, it's down 80%. My SLV. If I take into account the premium that I sold, it's probably down closer to 30 to 40. But let's say I did not sell any premium. I bought these contracts at actually, can I find? I don't even know if I can find that out. I don't think that actually tells me. Well, I'm just gonna make it up. Let me say I bought these contracts at like 40 delta. Their current delta is 12. So their delta has gone down from 40 to 12. And what that means is, let me just do some basic math. I'm down about 180 per contract, somewhere around there. And my delta is 12. So in order for me to make a profit, let's say I'm down 180 a contract, my delta is 12 a contract. Silver has to go up $15 for me just to break even. And that's not going to happen. Like SLV is not going to go up $15. It's only at 24. It would have to damn near double in price for me just to break even on my trade. So what you guys need to do when you're in losing positions for options is take your delta of your entire position. So not just, well, you can do it per contract too, it doesn't matter. It's easier if you do the entire position, it does it for you. So like if your whole position is at 100 delta, let's say you have 4 contracts, they're 25 delta a piece. That means your position delta is 100. If you're down $300, it only has to move $3. Does that make sense? Your position delta is 100. You're down $300. It only has to go up $3 and you'll break even. So if you can look at the chart and say, okay, this can go up $3, then you can hold on to it. But if you look at the chart and $3 is like a ridiculous move that's not going to happen, just close the trade. And that will help you guys a lot in closing your losers. So use that mentality, use that discipline, and you'll cut your losses a lot quicker. That mentality does not work for lottos. That only works for like normal trades. Does PLTR have a chance to recover tomorrow? Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Like it's got decent support below you, but tomorrow maybe not. It could recover, but I don't know about tomorrow. The supports below you are pretty strong. So a recovery within the next week or so probably wouldn't be too bad. Like 24 is a pretty strong support. 23 and a quarter, 23. These are all strong supports here. So it could recover as long as it holds onto that level. I just don't know if it will do that by tomorrow. Until the momentum breaks this little downtrend that we're in, it's going to continue downward. Roblox, let me take a look. Roblox doesn't look too bad. Sold off pretty hard, but you're holding a trend. As long as you hold on to that trend, it should be okay. You do have to break that pivot though, the 90 pivot. You definitely want to keep an eye on the energy sector moving forward. If oil continues to break out, the energy sector is going to do very well. Now that I think about it, honestly, I didn't think about it until this point. That's probably another reason why EVs pulled back so hard today. Was because the energy sector and the oil sector is doing very well. They are basically competitors, the oil sector and the EV sector. So EVs doing well should hurt. Sorry, oil doing well should hurt EVs. I'm almost tempted to add on to my retail position, but we have a really good entry. My entry is 95. Yeah, we have a really good entry. So I don't want to raise it too much. You could look at it that way, Chad. He said, wouldn't oil prices doing well make EVs more desirable? You could look at it that way. I'm trying to think about the easiest way to explain this. The thing with oil companies is when oil prices go up and they continue to cut the price, or sorry, cut the production of oil, cut the supply, right? And it continues to make oil rise. That typically helps the oil companies. So if the oil companies are doing well, you would think that the EV companies are not going to do so well. The thing with oil, and it's very hard to go over on stream, there's a lot of geopolitical, like fundamental shit that happens with oil. It's not just purely technical. So unless you follow all those channels, like all the different channels of news and reports that you have to keep track of, it's very hard to follow. What did you see to enter here? What do you mean? Oh, what did you see to enter there on my retail trade? Gotcha. Sorry. Where is my retail trade? Here it is. This was more of a fundamental / technical play. The reason I've been in this trade for a while, I didn't enter recently. When did I take this trade? I think it was like a few weeks ago. I took this trade on May 18th, so it's been over a month. I've been in this trade. May 18th. Where was that? That was here. Oh, so I took this when it broke the pivot. So it closed. We had a nice little bounce here, and then it closed above this pivot here. So I took it here, thinking that it was going to break out, but then it went for a long consolidation. But we finally did break out. So that's why I never let go of it, because it was still looking very bullish. But fundamentally, we were seeing very high vaccination numbers. A large percentage of the population in most states are getting vaccinated. So a lot of retail stores are lifting all restrictions. And then we also had the mask mandate be lifted. So most states are lifting their mask mandates. They're going back to basically back to full normal. So I was anticipating that to spike the retail sector. So technicals looked good, fundamentals were behind it. I put about 30% of my account into this trade. Which is, it's a little high. But for shares, I'm okay with putting anywhere from like 10 to 30%. I had about 30, it was either 30 to 35% of my account in Costco. So that was a really big gain on that. Now I closed half my Costco shares, so my retail shares are my number one position. What's my second biggest? Let me see. My second biggest is Airbnb. And then Costco, even though I closed half of my Costco shares, it is still my third biggest. So if I sorted these by biggest to smallest, it would be retail, Costco, or sorry, Airbnb, Costco, and then the two lottos down here. I've been having a lot more success this year on shares than I have on options. All the money we made in the first quarter of the year was all on penny stocks. That was all shares. Second quarter, pretty much all shares. The only big options trades I've had this year are my lottos. The lottos that I put in the analysis channel. The biggest one out of the lottos, I think, was Roku. And then we had a few SPY and Q's plays as well. Someone bought 37,672 lottos for tomorrow on Airbnb, did they? Let me see if I can find those. You got a lot of puts come in, actually. Someone's buying some leaps on puts. A lot of 150s and 160s coming in for July 16th. I don't see those ones that you're mentioning. They bought them around 2 p.m. Let me take a look at the chart. Which ones did you say? What strike? The 160s, you mean? It was a tweet? Yeah, I don't see those. I'm not sure which ones they're talking about. The highest volume today is the 160s, 45,000 contracts. But that's not in one order. That's in a lot of orders. That might have been... There's a big dark pool. I don't know if that's what they mean. There is no contracts that came in today for that size. Not even on July 16th either. Not on July 9th either. So it's probably shares. It's probably not options. Yeah, post a tweet. I'll take a look at it. I don't see it on my end. Unless it was yesterday. Sorry guys, I'm a little late on the cheddar flow video. I've been doing a lot of other things. I've been working on a lot of email marketing and stuff that I'm getting ready to push out. So once I'm done with that, I'm gonna release the cheddar flow video, most likely this weekend. When the video releases, we're actually going to do a little promotion with them as well. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, he's full of shit. He's full of shit, Moneybag. That's not real. 37,600 of the 160s. That's the one I was talking about. He's full of shit. 3,600, maybe, not 37,000. Like here, I'll show you the contract. The guy's 100% full of shit. This is the contract. This big spike in volume is 4,000 contracts, not 37,000. I don't know what fucking pipe he's smoking out of, but it ain't weed. Yeah, he's on some sauce, that's for sure. $37,600 contracts of the 160s for 35 cents. What is he smoking? That would be all over my cheddar flow if that came in. I think what he did is he's looking at the overall volume that contract has traded throughout the entire day. And he just thinks that that's one person buying them.
Yeah, probably looking at all the contracts of that day.
Yeah, guy's an idiot. It has 45,000 contracts in volume. But that's not one person buying 37,000 of them. That guy's a penny stock pumper too. That guy's full of shit 99% of the time. He's just trying to dump on his followers. What's even funnier about it is remind me tomorrow, and I can almost guarantee you that the open interest won't even be high enough for his fucking tweet to make sense. Maddox, man, this thing's holding strong. All the other shippers are going down. The shipping index is down, and these other shipping companies that I'm keeping an eye on are down. And Maddox is climbing. It looks good, too. By the way, guys, I'm not a tax professional, so this isn't tax advice. But for the first time ever, I actually went to a tax person to do my taxes, and he saved me a lot of fucking money. So, if you guys are self-employed, I highly recommend getting a professional to do your taxes.
A whole lot easier doing.
I wanted to cry when I saw how much I owed. It was way lower than I expected.
I I realize it's a lot different doing business or even self-employed taxes versus had a household or whatever.
Well, being self-employed in the U.S. is a scam, dude. They charge you fucking astronomical taxes.
Yeah, have you done your FICA Social Security stuff?
You mean self-employment tax?
Yeah, but there's another one too. There's the well, maybe if it's under the self-employment tax. There's
They're
a one.
all they're all under the same one. Like anything that goes into like, so when you work at a normal job, all that money they take out for like Social Security, Medicaid, all that other bullshit, that's what's in the self-employment tax. They bundle all that shit together in the self-employment tax, then they bend you over. It's like an additional 20 something percent, dude. It's fucking ridiculous. There's things you can do though that my tax guy did to lower the self-employment tax a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, self-employment includes Social Security, Medicare, and all the other bullshit.
Yeah, three people you need to know in life: a doctor, a mechanic, and a lawyer. What is it? Lawyer? Oh, it's not a doctor, it's a mechanic. Lawyer, tax guy, and a mechanic. Yeah, that'd be nice, dude. If you had all those in your family, you need a plumber too. If your family has a plumber, a lawyer, and a mechanic, you're gonna save a lot of fucking money in life.
Yeah, part of that self-employment tax too is when you're self-employed, you pay employer and employee side of Social Security, employee and employer side of Medicare, and all that crap.
Yeah. Well, that's why they fuck you, because when you work in a normal job, your job covers part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pancho, my brother's a plumber, my dad's a general contractor, and my uncle's a mechanic, so we got it all under control. We don't have a tax guy, though. This tax guy is not bad, though. My brother recommended him. He only charged me 150 bucks, which is fucking ridiculous, dude. He could have charged me 10 times the amount, and I would have paid it happily.
Only 150?
Yeah, just $150, dude.
Wow.
Dude, I was prepared to pay like 10% of what I owed, and they charged me 150 bucks. I was like, where the fuck do I sign? Sign me up. I told him I'd see him next year.
Last year's taxes that we did like in October or whatever, that was for 2020. Even with all my deductions, I paid like 12 grand. And I paid my tax guy, I think it was like 350 or something.
A lot of a lot of Apple calls coming in. 147 730s. Gonna put these in Discord. I'm surprised the tax guys don't do like a variable charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
true.
you would think for
Some,
people like us, right? The people that are we have to pay taxes. Like we don't get returns. There's no such thing as a fucking return. You would think people like us they would charge us more because we're already paying out the ass. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You think they would get like some kind of percentage of what we're paying.
I know bankruptcy attorneys, they get paid. They don't whoever's the person filing for bankruptcy, especially like the chapter 13, the client doesn't have to pay anything. The attorney gets their fee out of whatever the settlement is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's why those dudes will take on anybody with anything because they know they're gonna get paid either way.
147, 730s on Apple. Those are the ones coming in. We had a lot of the 146s coming this morning too. 730, they're playing earnings. Those were up a decent amount too. Yeah, Bronx, I'm technically supposed to be doing quarterly taxes, but we're not going to talk about that. Your tax person charges 170. It's a steal, dude. It's a complete steal. I don't know why they charge so little, to be honest. You would think like 500 minimum. I mean, my taxes are pretty easy. I only have like my trading income, my income from the Discord. I got a few little side things that I do. Like it's not complicated. So I did 100, like $500, yeah.
Jim May's got like 20 things going on.
Yeah, JMA's tax guy. That guy's working for his money.
Now he's doing that.
Yeah, now he's got a new one. His tax guy's gonna be like, dude, how many fucking businesses do you have? I could only imagine Chip's tax guy.
Oh my God! Yes.
Chip's tax guy has to be fucking.
Well,
He knows every trick in the book.
That's why he files for an extension. He said every
Yeah,
year.
he says every year extension. Yeah, every single year. I want to get into that stuff when everything dies down and I've got some spare time. The whole reselling thing, I'm kind of fascinated by that stuff, like the Amazon reselling. It's a lot of work though, and sometimes it's a lot of work for not that much money.
Capital too.
Yeah. For some reason, I've always been attracted to that. I like the idea of that, like flipping that stuff. It's like
Capital,
trading. You're flipping shit and trading.
and just like in trading, you can get stuck with some.
Yeah, hold on to a bag, exactly.
Yeah, you can hold on to a nasty bag.
You could buy some fucking lottos and get buried. Anybody in here? Do any of you guys in Twitch chat or YouTube chat? Do you guys do any reselling, like Amazon reselling or Facebook Marketplace reselling, anything like that? You do reselling, Pancho? What do you resell? What platform? Oh, that's right. You were talking about sneakers. That's right. See, I'm not a fan of that kind of reselling. I'm not really into the whole sneaker game or like the. I have been buying Supreme shit. I'm gonna go take it to a consignment store. If I did reselling, it'd be more like the pool thing, the heater thing, like going to stores and grabbing stuff like that. We used to have a guy in Discord, Calvin. He was a big reseller, and he used to resell pools and heaters, and he would make a killing.
Yeah, whatever happened to Calvin? I remember that he had heaters that like those tiki torch heaters.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him lately?
No, I think I talked to him on Twitter a while back, but he's just been working.
Yeah, I remember he got stuck with those heaters that nobody wanted.
Those things were flipping, man. The heaters and the pools were flipping big time. Yeah, I'm not into that kind of flipping either. Money bag, the cards. That doesn't fascinate me. Even though you can make big money though. A lot of those Pokemon cards and stuff they were selling. The biggest thing I like about reselling, like the Amazon reselling and like the what do you call it? What's it called? FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. That sort of reselling. The thing I like about that is the kind of people that get into that world are hardworking individuals. Like their work ethic is through the roof. Like Calvin busting his ass, right? He fucking goes to these stores like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., buys out all their fucking heaters. He's got special connects to like get him these heaters on the side, you know what I mean? Like it takes a special kind of person to do that reselling and do it well. And I respect it. I respect it 100%. The one thing I would hate with the reselling is the driving around part. Because like the traffic in my area is fucking abysmal. So having to drive from like store to store to get inventory,
Are you good at selling?
I would kill myself. Selling doesn't matter because you're not really selling anybody. You would just do it fulfilled by Amazon. You would just put that shit on Amazon.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't do the personal. I wouldn't do the Calvin shit where like you're calling people up. I would just put it on Amazon. I'm good at selling if I have to put food on my table. Like back when I started my HVAC job and I was fucking pretty much broke, didn't have much money in the bank. I was killing it. Literally, first quarter, I had one of the highest sales in the entire East Coast. And then I had a shit ton of money in my bank. I was doing well in trading. I was doing well in selling, and I just stopped caring. I lost the drive. Your Tom Brady card went up 14K. What was it, like a New England? Sorry guys, my throat is fucking killing me. What was it, a New England card? I'm sure it's New England cards, man. Those things are probably skyrocketing. Oh, if you're in Texas, you're fucked, dude. The next couple of years, all those people leaving California to come to Texas, your traffic is going to be screwed, man. Same thing with Florida. Your traffic's already bad.
If you got a trade, pay the bills, it's gonna give you all the drive you need.
Yep. It also sucks though. It stresses you out. You know what I mean? When you're not trading well, and you know you got to pay the bills, it's,
Yep.
it's twice as stressful.
When you have a bad week, you gotta dig into the reserves.
Yep. It's hard to make connections like that. Yeah, like when you're reselling, trying to find the connections in the store for sure. You got to cut them in. That's the thing. And you got to cut in the right people because like if you catch somebody who's like a goody two shoes, they're gonna be like, oh, that's against the rules. I can't do that. You find the guys who are like, hey man, you open the back door, sell me these fucking sneakers. I'll give you 10%. And he's like, I don't care. Fucking, we'll sell them.
There's the bell.
If they look like they're the kid who was the first person to raise their hand in class, they're not going to help you with the backdoor sales. Today keeps feeling like Friday. I keep thinking today's Friday.
It does, doesn't it? I was
It's
thinking the
fucking
same thing
Thursday.
earlier.
Oh, is it rookie card? The cards are a lot harder of a market, though. The cards are like a supply and demand. Well, it's all supply and demand, but the cards, like, to a massive extent. Where the supply is very, very limited, and the demand is not really that high, but sometimes it will spike. And then when you have those spikes in demand, the fucking prices just skyrocket. Like those Pokemon cards. The supply was unchanged. The supply is very, very limited. Demand was very, very low. But then you had this weird ass spike in Pokemon cards, and it sent those things skyrocketing. The Charizards, the Blastoise. What was the other ones? The fucking Ivysaurs.
I had a what is it, Black Lotus? The one where you can skip.
You're thinking Magic the Gathering.
Oh, what were you talking about? Oh, Pokemon.
I was talking about Pokemon, yeah. No, Magic the Gathering is the same way, though. That shit resells. If you have some rare ass cards.
I had one, and in one of my divorces and moves and stuff, it got lost. Till this day, I'm pissed about that.
One of the things with Magic is they do a lot of they do like so many sets, but then they have like limited sets. They have like banned cards. Dom, it should be $2 unless they change their price. It better not be fucking 120. If they're gonna rebill me for that, I'm gonna take a look after stream. Let me end the stream and I'll take a look. I don't want to pull up my billing details on stream. Summer Rae and Aiden Ross hot tub water sold for 100. What? Sold for 100K on eBay for hot tub water? I mean, shit, do you got some? You got like a coupon code?
No, Dom, not unless it's wanting you to upgrade your TradingView subscription. If you have like the really low one, it probably won't let you add on futures data in real time unless you have a higher package. That may be it. But
They're
it's normally
constantly
like
changing their prices to fuck the customer, so I would not doubt it, but I'll take a look.
But not 120. It's like,
well, dude, it used to
$5.
be it used to be like 500 or something. Like back when me and J May looked at it a while, like years ago. And we were like, fuck that, dude, we're not paying for that. And then we just figured it out recently, like back during COVID, they lowered it all the way down to like $2. Because they got like a different data feed. We're talking about the data to trade on TradingView. They've changed the price a few times and it went from like really high to really low. But alright guys, my throat's already getting sore. We still got another day for stream tomorrow, see if I can even talk. But I'm going to call it on that. I will be putting the analysis in Discord as always. Watch out around 9-10 o'clock. Scanner stream tomorrow, 9:30 in the morning. And then we will switch over to the analysis stream at 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys keep an eye on my Twitter, my stream. We're going to be having some videos come out pretty soon. I'm going to have some Cheddar Flow videos. I'm also doing a lot of different marketing stuff coming up. So keep an eye on that. We're going to do some promotions pretty soon. Just like I said, keep an eye on my Twitter. Make sure you guys follow on Twitter, follow on YouTube, and you guys will be up to date. But alright guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Come back around 3 p.m. Eastern for the analysis stream. Or if you guys want to see the scanners, come back in the morning.